Today's episode is brought to you by Gray Block Pizza and Bronx Born Pizza in Bend, Oregon. Bronx Born in Bend and Gray Block in Los Angeles at 1811 Pico Blvd on the way to the beach. Gray Block Pizza, get that hitter. Today's guest is a Japanese-American entrepreneur and entertainer. He is the host of one of the most popular shows, JK News. I'm so happy to have him here today, Mr. Joe Jitsukawa. We had a Joey Diaz episode that we sat on for almost 2 months, just trying to, because we just had other comics that came in, or like, somebody would come in that was like, you don't want it to all be goofy or.
Yeah. That's what I like about your channel, actually, is because you've had Jordan Peterson on.
Yeah.
And it's super serious, right? But I mean, it's never too serious because it's with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I struggle with knowing, if I'm being. I don't know. I struggle sometimes if it's a guest that's like, very smart or something like Jordan Peterson, like a real, or somebody like that, with, like, I guess being afraid to joke around because I feel like, I don't know, I guess, like, I feel like if I joke too much with somebody like that, that they're going to shut down. They'll think, especially since it's someone older, they'll think like older people will feel like younger people are manipulating them sometimes just because of the difference in like language or things you like kind of say. They'll think like, oh, is this person making fun of me even if you're not?
Yeah. Like, oh, is this a troll interview?
Right.
Is this like a Ali G kind of thing,
yes.
Right? Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But anyways, man, congrats, dude. I mean, I remember when you first got on JK News, I saw your Instagram. You were like at 100,000 and like now you're like
300,000.
Yeah. And then like your channel too. When I first saw it, I was like, dang, this is crazy. Like this guy's super talented, and then you just whoosh, like within a matter of months, man.
Yeah.
And
thanks,
yeah,
man.
Dude, for real. Like, and I saw you live in Minnesota when we were hanging out. I was like, no shit, dude. You got me. I was dying in tears. It's been a while since I started since I cried during the stand-up set.
Yeah.
Your Beetlejuice bit got me dying, bro.
Dude.
Yeah.
That was I wasn't a scary time in my life, but it was definitely kind of a ridiculous time. Yeah, so Joe and I saw each other at the Gary Vaynerchuk show in Rochester. What'd you think about Gary V after? Had you seen him before? Like, what'd you know about Gary V before, and then what'd you think?
Yeah, actually, one of my business partners, he's in that world. Like, he used to work with like a lot of motivational speakers and stuff like that, and he put me on him.
Right.
And then he's like, you wanna get to know this guy. Most of these guys I don't really like because they don't run businesses or they don't know what they're talking about. They just sell dreams and stuff. So they sound like a used car salesman to me. Okay. But then this dude, when I heard him, I was like, oh shit, this guy, he's a businessman. Like he has his parents, I think it was a liquor store or wine company, and he blew it up. Yeah,
I think he had a wine company, and then he tripled their sales once he got like active, like pushing the business. I mean, they had a business to begin with.
Exactly. And then and the stuff that he says makes sense. And I know this because, I own like a few restaurants and I've been in business for a while. So I'm like, all right, cool. Like I could tell that he's not bullshitting. I like what he's saying. He's straightforward. And I think that's what we need right now. We need a guy that can just be straight about everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I watch when things I watch, I'm like, oh, is this person, are they just giving me information? Are they somebody that I could look at as like an actual guide? Are they just selling me something? Those are the things that I think, are my natural inclinations when I'm watching something. Like, okay, is this just for entertainment?
Yeah.
Is this for entertainment and education? Is this just a hidden advertisement,
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was interesting. I left out of there. I definitely thought it was interesting. I felt like I get this vibe, and I can be totally wrong. It's just, most of the vibes I get are wrong, and but that Gary, he's just like so into business though that it becomes almost like an obsession. You know? Like
that's true.
Like that's where I don't want to be ever in my life. I mean, I don't. I woke up at probably 10:30 a.m. today, so I don't think I'll ever get to that place. But
I know what you mean. It's all about that balance, right? You don't want to obsess to the point where your relationships suffer.
When you're just greedy, where you have like, if your family has like $100 million, like, what does that even mean? You know?
I kind of get it because I have friends like him.
Right.
And
do you really?
Yeah, the way they see business is like a video game. So you know how some people are super obsessed with like different hobbies and video games, or like some people want to surf like 10 hours a day or something like that, right? And that's the way this guy...
Or masturbate. A lot of our listeners want to masturbate for half the day.
Right.
And some of these guys have been sending me pictures and artwork. Some guy sent me a drawing the other day, allegedly done in, skeet or whatever they call it.
What did they do? Jack off onto a piece of paper?
I didn't see any of the, I didn't see him make the paint, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely saw... the final artwork, and the art wasn't even any good, and I felt bad for looking at it. And then he sent me a message like, just look again and see if you like the picture. And I was like, and I looked again because I don't want to not be somebody that doesn't care about somebody's art.
Yeah.
And it still was just horrible. It just didn't even look like art. It looked like somebody just honestly masturbated onto a piece of paper. Man. So I think I kind of got tricked. But anyway, but yeah, some of our listeners. But yeah, go on. You were saying people do all kinds of stuff.
I just think the thing is like...
it could become a video game.
Yeah, I think he's just passionate about it.
Right.
But you're right, like, I mean, sometimes obsessions and passions can go overboard and it could destroy people. But I think he does it in a more healthy way, because he doesn't preach that hashtag hustle, you need to work all day and do all this stuff. If you really listen to what he's saying, it's really, there's a bigger picture to it, and it's about like connecting with people, being genuine, creating products and businesses that are ethical and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's not really this like work all day, work all night, don't even sleep, you could sleep later mentality.
Right.
I think if you love doing anything, you'll do that for farming, if you're passionate about farming. You know what I mean? Like, so I think it's just with money, there's this weird stigma around it, like, because there are so many shady scammers and all that stuff that's tied to that kind of world. Yeah. Yeah.
But you're right. I think about that. It's like, think about that a lot, I guess. And maybe, I don't know if I even obsess sometimes on that. Like what is like enough.
Are you into business?
To be doing business. Yeah, I'm into business,
That's cool.
I'm into it. I'm getting more into it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think what happened for me was, I just started getting busy. And so it's like, okay, my time is a commodity.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And it's really the only, it's like the only like commodity that's definitely mine.
Yeah.
Like intrinsically, or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, that from there, things started to be like, okay, well, I can't do this anymore. I can't do that. Like, I can have a conversation that's I can't hang out and just listen to somebody that's drunk talk for an hour.
Yeah.
Because they're not nothing's gonna come of it.
Right.
Nothing's gonna come of it for me. Nothing's gonna come of it for them.
Yeah.
Like, just little things like that. But then it becomes more and more serious.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I need to be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a friend of mine and I a long time ago invested in an apartment or condominium down in New Orleans.
Oh shit!
And so that's one thing that I got into slowly over the years. It's been like 15 years now. We each had like 10 grand, and we saved up and we put in and we got a place. So then over the years, like you become like a property manager, a landlord.
So you have real estate. You're in that world.
So then I started to get into it a little bit, right? Like I started then, like over time, was able to sell and then get two places, right? But then also it's like I've realized in that time, like then I'll become a landlord. There are times when I'm a landlord where I'm seeking tenants. There are times where now part of my week I have to deal with like dealing with HOA issues and all that kind of stuff. So it's I've definitely learned some of it, things like that make you want to think like, okay, at first I'm like, well, maybe I'll buy an apartment building one day.
Yeah. But do you want the responsibility?
That's another thing.
Right? I think that's what they don't tell you is like, people go, oh, business is so cool, owning businesses, but like, they don't tell you all the bullshit you have to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, and if that's something, and I think that's a thing, I think a lot of people feel, we see videos like business videos online.
Yeah.
And some of them makes me feel inspired, but then sometimes I can also feel like, oh man, I'm not doing enough,
That's true.
Like I started too late. I did this, I did that. But that's some people, business is not for everybody.
Yeah, 100%.
And being like like that kind of stuff, like, dude, the other night, like I'm in an HOA call, right? I'm listening on it, part of an HOA board. And dude, I'm sitting there for 2 hours listening while some guy who I think is probably an alcoholic, like just berates everyone else on the board, you know?
Damn.
But it's like I have to do that because I committed, and it's just yes, more business gets created. So if you don't want to be a business person and you don't really like doing those sorts of things, then just don't feel bad about yourself if you see those types of videos and you're like, fuck, I'm not a business guy.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like the Gary Vee dude, because he doesn't come off as like a lot of the other guys who,
right.
I mean, because you're in business,
he does seem more,
you know, like who's a fraud and who isn't. Like if someone's just trying to sell you a dream, and they're like, you want to be on this fucking yacht with a bunch of girls and shit. It's
and then they throw one of the girls off the yacht and they're like, what did Belinda do?
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, you're better off trying to be an entertainer, an artist. You get that shit for real, you know. Like, and it doesn't cost that much if you think about it. You could rent a yacht, you could get a bunch of girls.
You want to kill your brother with a nice gun, and then he just kills one of his brothers. Thankfully, the guy has like 9 brothers, you know, but it's still like, but yeah, some of it's just delusional. Yeah. But then there are guys, and I did notice he seemed like I just got to shake his hand and say, hey, we chatted for maybe 6 seconds, and it was he does seem authentic though. He seems authentic in his desire to like lead people into not getting stuck into bad habits.
Right.
That's one thing I noticed.
I mean, one thing I took away from what he preaches is like, really give away the content. Don't try to sell everything all the time. Yeah. And then be honest with yourself. Like if you want to make $1 million, be honest about that. Don't fucking go around and say like, yeah, I want to help the world. I want to do this for charity or whatever. Then get into charity. Right. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that want to get into business and they think they're saving the world, or they don't want to come off as greedy. Right. But they're not being honest with themselves.
Ah, that's interesting.
You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, that's totally right. Yeah.
That's super interesting, man. Yeah, because I think about that a lot. I think about like, if as my career starts to get bigger, and the potential to make more money. Yeah. And then, but then also how to not get caught into greed, and also how to feel like deserving of money that you make. Mm-hmm. Like those are some things that I even struggle with. It's like, like feeling like you deserve. Because sometimes my brain won't see the hard work I put in. Yeah. My brain will just see this moment, and my brain will be like, oh, you don't deserve this, even if I do, right?
I know what you're talking about. It's like going on vacations, and you can't really be on vacation because you feel like you didn't do enough and you don't deserve it. Right. Yeah. Do all business people go through that?
I don't know.
But
I don't know what that is, man. Here, Nick just brought this up.
Imposter syndrome. What's that?
A psychological pattern in which an individual doubts their accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud.
Do you fear that? Like you kind of might come off a certain way?
No, I fear like it's a constant struggle to. I feel like I'm still learning a lot about who I am. Yeah. I feel like a lot of like I try and be as authentic as I can. Yeah. I feel like it's also hard to do. Sometimes like it's tough to know if your ego is running even a moment, or if your heart is like running the moment, or
being your own worst critic is a good trait to have though. Right. Because you try to hold yourself accountable. Right. And I think more people actually need that. You know what I mean? Especially now with social media and everybody with these big ass fucking egos, like they have no clue.
Like Lil Tay, bro. Dude, I fucking can't stand Lil Tay, bro. You know what I'm saying? They say you can't be mad at children, dude. Fuck that, bro.
You know what's sad?
I was a child. I know what it's like. I've already been in those trenches, dude. I did 18 years as a child.
She's a little puppet for her brother.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the
that's
brother
sad,
put her up to
man.
it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought she was just a crazy, 17-year-old kid that looked real small and was doing that.
No, she's like an 8-year-old child, man. Yeah. And what ended up happening is her brother just really, he was the puppeteer, and I don't know if she's at fault or whatnot, but she's a kid, man. And then I was just like, this is fucking crazy. When all that stuff came out, because in the very beginning, I was with you. I was like, this bitch is stupid.
Yeah. I just didn't get it. Like, I got some of it. Yeah. But there just seemed to be too fake.
Yeah. And then
good name though, Lil Tay.
Lil Tay. Yeah, someone leaked out like her brother coaching her. No, you got to say it like this. And she's like, I don't want to. And you're like, no, just do it. And I was like, oh shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Man. And then her mom was in on it and everything. She got like her mom is a big real estate person out in Canada, and she had her like luxury cars and houses to fake the funk. And I was like, that's fucked up. See, the world is coming to a weird ass place, man.
It's getting wild. There she is right now.
Yeah, there it is.
Lil Tay's brother.
Yeah.
Do we want to hear that?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Yeah, check it out.
Again, I don't wear the same shit.
Like, I literally wore that Gap jacket because that's the shit I be wearing to sleep, bitch. You think I'm gonna be wearing Gucci jumps? Do you think I'm gonna be wearing?
She doesn't even speak like.
Nah. But bitch, since you wanna say I only have $1,000 and I spent that all on my belts, look at this shit, okay? And then start flexing that, and start flexing that. Be like, bitch, this one 2,000, this one 3,000, this one 2,300, bitch. You can't tell me shit. I got 100 on my wrist.
Okay, wait. I say
Okay, Lil Tay got 100 on her wrist. You can't tell me shit. Okay.
Is that Lil Tay?
Yeah, that's Lil Tay.
It looks
You're
like Winona
saying I
Ryder, like
wear
a young
this-
Winona Ryder.
wait. You
Oh, here
calling
she is
me
trying
out
to
for
do
wearing
it.
this?
Yeah. And she doesn't even speak like that, you know, like how she portrays herself. She just talks like a little girl.
You say I keep wearing the same jacket, bitch. This is the shit I wear to sleep.
Okay.
You expect me to wear a Gucci bandana, some Gucci?
She sounds like
Gucci
every
flip-flops
8-year-old in
my
most
bed?
neighborhoods, though, I feel like.
You saying I wear this shit every day because wait. You
I
saying
literally recorded those videos
Wow.
before I went to sleep. That's what I wear to sleep, okay?
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So that, I mean, that's just what, like, but I feel like you could see that. You could
Yeah,
see
yeah,
through
yeah.
that when you're watching it. And you're like, there's no way this kid is like,
Yeah.
really like has this much.
Like money and.
Yeah. The money.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did they own? 700 lemonade stands? Like, how would you ever even make that kind of money?
But we're also a lot older than, the general YouTube and Instagram viewer.
Right.
So if I was 13 and I saw that shit, I think it would be real or like.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
that's interesting.
yeah.
Like I wonder if I was a kid now and I saw that, would I think it could be real? And enough people must have.
Yeah. Because there are videos of like, nephews of oil tycoons or whatever with their fucking hunting eagle and
Oh,
like
yeah.
driving Lambos and stuff.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Eating
you're-
human.
Right. You're just
There's
like
a couple of
what the
British
fuck?
dudes eating human somewhere, like in Sierra Leone or
Damn.
something. So that shit is
Riding
exotic,
elephants
bro.
or
By
something.
candlelight, yeah. Having a little bit of Perrier with some human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, but I guess maybe like you were saying, is that what we've come to? Like, is that what's going on? That it's just, it's all becoming a little bit to me like everything is like a WWE promo now. It's like, we consume things in short clips and in beats almost.
100%, man. There's so much fraudulent bullshit that's going on. Like,
There's a lot of fraudulent shit out there.
hell yeah.
But do you feel like people are starting to see more of the authenticity? I mean, even going back to the Gary Vee, like, I did take away some things. I didn't feel like he was. Here's what I didn't feel like at the thing.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like he was trying to sell me anything.
Yeah.
Like I did buy a ticket to go to the thing, right? But I didn't
Yeah.
feel like there was no like come and get in this line at the end and like pay for. There was none of that.
Oh, yeah. You bought a ticket even though you were paid to perform?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But yeah, I just wanted to contribute to the vibe, over there.
Yeah.
I think I did anyway.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I would
I
have
hope I
never
did.
done that.
Oh,
I'm trying to
really?
get him for free, bro.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I'm the worst free person.
That's
I
awesome,
think,
man.
Yeah. Yeah, so but yeah, I mean, I definitely took some stuff away from it. I took away from it, like he said things like, that the mom and pop shop is not going to come back. Like you can't romanticize a lot of business. Like,
Yeah.
and we want to. And when he said that hit me, because I romanticize a lot of business. I have this idea somewhere that lives in my head that, that the mom and pop shop is going to make a comeback in small town America, but the numbers just aren't there to support it.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, that the advertising now, it's putting an ad in a paper, that sort of thing, it just doesn't it you have to go to your phone,
Yeah.
that everything is capable right there, like
Right.
the old door-to-door salesman and shaking hands, like a lot of that is gone.
I think it's going to be a blend of the two. Because, I mean, apps like Yelp helped out a lot of struggling mom and pop shops. That hole in the wall restaurant that had really good food.
yeah.
But then no one really knew about it except for the locals.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like the internet gets a hold of it, and boom, they can survive.
Yeah, now passerbys heading through town can look and see, oh, this place people love this place.
Yep.
But then it's like these subordinate like technologies are created to like fluff all of that. Like that's the
true.
thing that gets really scary.
Yeah.
It's like how much of this is fluff.
Right.
Right.
Like bots leaving comments or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Dan's Tacos. You think a dude named Dan makes good tacos, bro? I'm out.
Right. It has to be like Hector's or something.
Yeah, bro. Hector's, bro. Dude, I want to see a bunch of kids in the picture. The first picture better have 9 or 11 Latino kids in it. You know what I'm saying? I want to see people spraying horchata on each other. Like, I want to see that party, bro.
That's so true.
Yeah, dude. I want to see somebody getting, released from prison. I want to see it all. I want these tacos to have some fucking flavor.
Hell yeah.
I want to see that real shit, bro. Villaraigosa.
You're pretty entrepreneurial, though. A lot of people might just think you're an entertainer and a comedian, but I think over time I'm starting to recognize like you have that because we have a similar like thing in common is when we were kids we would always be hustling and trying to do things. Like you had your G pigs and hamsters that you were selling. I would sell candy at school.
You would?
Yeah, man.
Joe Jitsukawa with that fucking little backpack full of sprees, huh?
I used to sell pogs.
I used to sell pogs?
Yup.
Now that seems dark into the Asian underworld, bro. Who was buying pogs?
Just my classmates.
Really?
Did you ever get into pogs? That was like a pretty big thing in the 90s. Maybe it's a California thing.
I think it's more. You did it, Nick?
Oh yeah, I did. I had some pogs, some slammers.
Hell yeah.
And what was slammers, dude? Slammers, where I was from, where these a lot of gay guys would meet up. Not joking, dude, would meet up behind the rest area.
It was like a metal pog. It was like and then you slam it on top of the pog. So the way you play is like, you get 5 pogs, I get 5 or whatever. We stack it up, and then like we put it upside down and we slam them with the slammers, and anything that flips over, we get to keep.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No, we didn't play any of that, dude. We used to play this game. I mean, everybody had headlights by us, so that's like a constant game. Have you ever had headlights?
No.
Yeah, I think that's more of like a regional thing.
We had like worms.
Oh, you did? Oh, dude, if somebody got worms, dude, you would take them outside and burn them.
No, you never had like worms that would crawl out of your butt and stuff from playing in the sand and shit? No?
Whoa, dude, we're about to go going deep.
Yeah.
No, man, tell me about this, dude. Let me tell you this. Somebody had worms come out of their butt by us, dude. They're not allowed back at church.
No, I mean, I thought that was pretty common for us kids. Like we go play in the sandbox and fucking
extremely
go eat
uncommon
afterwards or whatever. I remember like maybe this is an Asian thing, but my parents would remedy it by fucking pouring vinegar up my ass.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang, bro.
I was like, I thought everyone went through this shit.
I don't even know what that's called, dude. I think that's how. I mean, that's freaking.
I had to get dewormed, bro.
That's a rare vinaigrette you guys are making over there, bro. What else would they put in there? Anything else?
No, it was just. I would just like. Yeah, I would have vinegar. That's it. They would just.
And how would they do it? Will one of them like hold your legs open, or would
no? Like my mom would be like, "All right." Like when you're a kid and they help you wipe your ass and shit, you just get in that position, right?
Yeah.
So fuck, booty in the air, and then they just pour out a cap of vinegar in my butt.
Dude.
Yeah.
Whoa, this sounds like some kind of rapper stuff, dude. This sounds like something you would see
like an initiation for a gang or something.
Yeah, this sounds like something you would see on some old, some Lil Wayne shit.
No, that was one of the ways that
Usher or R. Kelly does to people. This seems like how R. Kelly makes salad dressing.
You know what's fucked up too? I probably could have just went to the doctor and got like a pill or something and then dewormed myself.
And so they would just pour it in and that would kill them.
Yeah. I mean,
and then you just pass the worms. Right? I mean, I would assume.
I don't know, man. I was like in elementary school, probably like 1st or 2nd grade or something.
But did you think about just sitting around and having worms just like being inside of your body? I mean, you're basically a bait shop at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It freaked me out though, because I remember I had an itchy ass butt and I kept telling my parents like, what's going on, man? My fucking butthole's been itching for ages. And they're like, what?
Bro.
Yeah.
Making me G my C over here, dude. Grab my crotch. When people say itchy butthole, that stuff making me grab my crotch, bro. Because there's all these
tingles.
It just makes me nervous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep my butthole pretty clean. I feel like overall, I think there was a couple years where I wasn't really caring about it.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I've really I shine up my shell shop,
How did you deal with the headlights? What was that like?
Oh, everybody had it. I mean, you would give it to your friend. You fucking sneak up and give it to a girl you like so that you could bring her that shampoo a couple days later.
Well, you would flake it on them? Like, you would give it to them?
No, just
like?
sneak up behind them and just be near them for long enough. Because, bro, they had some rare strands where I was from. Oh, they had African-American headlights. They had all types. Basic white dude headlights.
Damn.
Bro, the African-American, they jump across the fucking room onto your head.
Damn, they do a layup while they're doing it.
All
That's
kind of shit.
crazy, man.
Other lights would be giving them, scores.
Oh, shit.
7, 9, Two of them would be jumping over each
That's
other when I'm sitting in
crazy.
chairs, when I'm ordering a pizza while they're in the air, all kind of stuff. But yeah, headlights was popular where I was from. What other games, dude? They had this big dude named Wayne. He was named Wayne 2 times, first and middle name, because his parents couldn't decide if they wanted to name it for his first name or his middle name, and so they fucking got in a fight about it, and then they both
Fuck it.
out of
Just
anger.
Wayne.
No, out of anger.
Oh,
like,
shit.
you're not gonna fucking let me name him Wayne, then I'm gonna fucking name him Wayne. And the other one's like, you ain't gonna fucking let me name him Wayne? Then I'm naming him Wayne. And he was Wayne, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Wayne,
because they're both
dude.
agreeing, like, it's already Wayne.
Yeah, but they were disagree.
On how it's spelled, or like...
No.
Oh, okay.
If, you've had to agree to disagree. This was disagree to disagree. And fucking now they got a double Wayne.
Oh, man.
They got Wayne squared, and ironically horrible at math, dude. This dude was severely uneducated, and he was in school. Dude, he was probably, bro. I remember him being 40 or maybe even 50 years old, and probably
in
8th
elementary
grade.
school,
8th or 9th grade. And that's when they let you stay in, dude. Because I remember his hair started falling out in class at some point, and people started getting scared because people thought he got bit by something, and that's why his hair was falling out. But it was because of adulthood. He'd gone on deep into adulthood. Anyway, but the thing was, people got liced by us. What else did people get, man?
Man, for some reason, when you paint those pictures of like where you went to school and all that, I remember that Adam Sandler movie Waterboy.
Oh yeah,
on the bayou and like
yeah,
and then I picture like your schoolhouse being like just made from 2x4s and just local TLC. You know what I mean? Like,
let me think. We had a dude. They had. I remember this man used to give me a ride to school, and he would roll up the windows, and he thought I was he thought that I thought I was smart. You know? He's like, you think you're smart? Well, if I'd miss the bus, he'd give me a ride to school, and he'd blow cigarette smoke all in the fucking car.
Well, this is elementary school.
Yeah, or middle. This was middle school,
okay.
5th grade, 6th grade. And then he would make me do my spelling words with smoke in the air. He's like,
my God.
A real fucking boy can spell with smoke in the air,
That's
you know?
fucked up,
He's
man.
like, how you going to score 100 if there's a fire, you know?
Damn.
And I'm like, I don't fucking know, you know? But then I would try to spell, and it was hard, bro. That Marlboro Red cigarette smoke just hotboxed this car. And I'm sitting there trying to rattle through the word inconvenience.
You think
know?
this guy was jealous of you going to school?
I think he was jealous of something, but I also think he was trying to parent me somehow, and he didn't have a lot of proper skills, you know?
I see.
But he figured if I could fill this car with enough smoke, and that boy can still spell,
That's kind of creative, though.
right, then if shit gets weird, he's going to be okay. Dude, I feel like having a kid with worms coming out of their butt seems like, it almost seems like a buffet or something in like in the Sudan, you know? Because a lot of those countries, they eat worms, you know? They'll eat...
Really?
Oh, yeah. They'll eat slugs and worms and larvae. And I've even been in one of those places.
Would you do it?
Oh, I've eaten some of them.
You've done it?
Yeah, I've been to South Africa and eaten a bunch of... And they get some big mealworms are the little ones. I think they get some big...
What is that, like a big-ass caterpillar or something?
Yeah, it's something like that, boy.
Shit.
And that thing, you got to really gnaw on it. It tastes like a Twix.
I tried a silkworm before.
Did you?
Yeah, they eat that in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't grow up eating silkworms and stuff.
Well, you
so
could
I'm not-
shit silk if you fucking practice some of your old hobbies, dude. It seemed like if you had a bunch of silkworms in your butt, dude, you could fucking, you know what I'm saying,
Damn.
put together a sweater on the wall.
I
You know
know.
what I'm saying? People are like,
Make like
what
a
are
nice
you doing,
robe and
dude?
shit.
You're like, I'm just making Christmas gifts for everyone. But no, let's talk more about entrepreneurialism, man. I like thinking about this kind of stuff. Did you think you would be, because is it in your culture or in your nature to be like a business person? Like, tell me it from a cultural standpoint.
No, actually, well, my parents, they came to the States. So they're from Japan.
Right.
But out there, they were...
So you're Japanese?
Yeah, I'm Japanese.
Oh, nice, man. Hajime mashite. Do you speak Japanese?
Yes.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah. Do you?
That's all I know.
Shit, I thought we were going to have a
Hajime
conversation.
No, that's all I know.
So the funny thing is, they came to the States because they wanted to pursue a life of music.
Oh, really? They want to be rappers?
Yeah, they wanted to be rappers. No, they wanted to be classical musicians. Like my dad's an opera singer. My mom plays piano and stuff like that. Yeah, so I grew up not stereotypically Asian. You know what I mean?
Did they come here with money? Did they come here with not much money, or what was it like? What was their?
No, you see, they grew up in rich like households.
Okay.
But the reason why we went broke is because they were never taught how to deal with money, how to save money, how to be responsible with any of that shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then in the 80s when they came in, Japan's economy was real good. So most of their music students were kids of rich Japanese executives and stuff, like from Sony and, you know, Toyota and all them.
Yeah.
So that was booming in America back
Konami?
in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So during that time, you know, man, they were getting like $100, $200 an hour for teaching piano, singing, all that shit.
Right. They were really highly revered.
So
If you
they
had
were
a Japanese teacher, you were really.
I mean, so they were rolling in dough.
Right.
And then, boom, a lot of the students start going back to Japan. They weren't doing things right. So they didn't know how to maintain that. And I remember the bill collectors keep calling in and like they wanted to keep up with appearances, so they kept buying like nice shit. And I remember being a kid like, man, how come you pretend like you're being rich? Like,
Really?
yeah, I'm like, I was getting mad at them. Like, why are we buying new cars all the time?
Yeah.
Because you guys can't even buy me my Christmas present, but you gotta
you're
look
like,
a certain way. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're like, I got fucking worms in
I
my
know,
butt,
right?
bro. And you guys are out here flexing.
And I'm going to a school that's like we live in a neighborhood that was like lower middle class or whatever, right? And I'm like, but the people that they hang out with were all, do you know where Palos Verdes is?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
rich
That's fancy up
area,
there.
like that. So I'm like, why you pretend like you're rich all the time? What I didn't know is that that's the world that they're used to. They just don't understand. Like when they first moved to the US, they didn't know the concept of a ghetto. They didn't know what like cheap rent means dangerous. They didn't understand that.
They didn't.
Because it's safe as hell in Japan. Like,
Oh yeah, Japan is very safe. Dude.
you been?
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
been somewhere. I don't.
But you
know.
don't got to worry about being robbed. You don't have to. And there's no like, just because something is cheap doesn't mean that it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So we first moved into like Inglewood.
Oh
Like,
really?
yeah.
So now, so because why? Because you don't think cheap dangerous. You just think, oh, this is a good price.
That's what they thought.
Right.
So then,
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
Yeah,
So a lot of
I was
times-
born in that area, and then we would walk around. Like my grandma would take me on little walks and stuff.
And was it mostly black or Latino or what was? it?
Majority black and Latino. Yeah, majority black at the time. And then like some guys were like doing a prank, I guess, and they threw bottles of water at her, and then she freaked out. And then our family doctor was like, "Why are you guys in that neighborhood? That's a
Right.
rough neighborhood." And they're like, "What?" I thought it was just like little Africa.
Yeah.
Because they don't know anything about American history. They don't know
Right.
how like there's all this difference in like
Class.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
They
a
don't
lot of
know.
poor. Oh, yeah. So a lot of the
Yeah.
poorest neighborhoods were a lot of times black, especially in cities. In, like-
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So they didn't know that it was dangerous or whatever. They didn't know
Like,
any of that stuff.
It's just a little Africa. That's
That's how they saw
That's
it. They were
great.
like, "Oh yeah, we live in Little Africa," you know. And so, people were just telling them, "You got to get out of there." So then we moved to a little bit better than that. It's a little city called Gardena.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's in the South Bay, and that's kind of where I grew up for most of my life, around like Latinos and blacks.
And what's it like growing up in California, man? I feel like growing up in California seems like everything seems to be. I don't know if it's. There doesn't seem to be a strong sense of community. I don't feel like in the LA area. Like where I'm
Yeah,
from, like
it
your
depends
town,
on where you're at.
like means a lot. Like your
Yeah.
town means something, and like your little neighborhood, like everything. I don't know. It's like people are a lot more. It seems like connected.
Yeah.
I don't know, like by core values. I don't know. Like it just seems California. I'm every time I see a young person here or hear somebody grow up, I'm like, man, I couldn't imagine that. I'm not saying it's wrong or anything, but
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
seems so wild to me. You know?
100%. I know what you're talking about because just going out of state, going to small towns, like I see it, man. But they also, you probably have like generations of history in that area,
Right.
right? So there's a lot of pride, and
Right.
if you look at LA in general, like there's like 2 million people in the city, and it's the city's constantly changing.
You mean in the actual city? I think it was like 14 million in like.
Is that? I thought it was okay. Damn, that's even
What's
bigger.
the population of Los Angeles, Nick?
In the greater LA, yeah.
Yes, yeah, greater.
So you're talking about like the suburbs, not just downtown, and Hollywood, right?
Oh, there you go.
It's 3.9. That's still a ton of people.
Yeah.
Right. That's like 4 million.
Yeah.
Right. But if you think about the history of LA, holy crap, 20 million.
In the greater Los Angeles area.
18.68 million. So also you're making a very bad Asian right now because it says
Damn.
exactly 18.68.
I think he might have been extrapolating to 2018, and it's probably about 20 now. So I don't think we should doubt his math.
Good call.
Yeah.
What does extrapolating
You nailed
mean?
it, man. I did kind of
Did you?
fluctuate for time. And
I was
shit
like,
in
damn,
my
fucking Joe can't even see that far. It's only about 6 feet from him. I'm sorry, Joe. 20 million people in greater Los Angeles area.
Well-
and Gardena is considered greater Los Angeles area.
Yeah.
So it's a suburb of the city.
But I think a lot changes in LA. So in my grandparents' generation, like some cities didn't even exist.
Right.
So if you talk about like LA, it depends on what area too, because you're
Very
around
good point.
entertainment.
Right.
And what I noticed is a lot of entertainment, like West Side, Hollywood, maybe
Yeah.
the Valley. Those cities are built by transplants.
Right.
And I was born
That's
and
a good
raised.
point.
Yeah, I was born and raised here. So
Right.
I have family that's been here since like early 1900s.
Right.
You know, like so they have a lot of history here.
Right.
But their neighborhoods change too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah. So it's like things change here so much that, yeah, that would affect history. Like, yeah, a lot of where I'm from, a lot of the history is based on, okay, this building has been here for this long, or,
Yeah.
this family has lived in this exact place for this long, or there's a lot more small town lore because things don't change as much. And when things don't change as much, it's going to be easier to have history.
Yep.
Because the history is more you can see the history.
Yep.
You can see that everything is a little bit of an artifact.
Yeah. It's kind of like you know, people say, "Oh, LA's so diverse." And it's like, "Nah, really, we're just a huge collection of different segregated cities."
That's what I feel like too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate that sometimes when people are like, it's so diverse here, and it's like, I mean, I know exactly, like in my neighborhood, it's like I feel, kind of tertiary because it's mostly Middle Eastern, right? I feel secondary, it's not like, yeah, I've never lived in a black neighborhood, but I know that they have them,
Yeah.
Like I don't even see any black neighbors in my, in the blocks by me.
Are you
I've
in the
never
Valley?
seen a black person. I live in Westwood. I don't think I've ever seen a black person, honestly.
Yeah.
By UCLA I have, but when I think about it, honestly, thinking right now,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a black person in my neighborhood. Except for if I go over to like the AA meetings and stuff, then I'll see them.
Yeah,
But
because they come from different cities.
right, they
Yeah,
come
yeah.
over to go to that. So yeah, you're right. It's like we claim diversity so much out here. There's this claim of diversity.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like it is that way.
No, man, I think it's just the space. We got a lot of space here.
Right.
So, I mean, like places like New York or San Francisco, you're kind of forced because there's not that much space, right? So
Right.
it's hard to make your little different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But out here, I mean, if you look at East LA, right? Well, the San Gabriel Valley.
Yeah.
And if you think about how many Asians there are from Monterey Park all the way down for like 7 cities straight, you have a population of 60% plus Asians.
Shit. That's why hopefully I usually choose the other on Waze. I choose do not go through that area. I'm just joking. That was kind of an old school bad joke. But yeah, Waze should factor that in a little bit. But yeah, it's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do you know the second largest population of Japanese people outside of Japan is in Brazil?
Yep. Yeah, it tripped me out too. I was like, dang.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's just things like there's pockets of, yeah, you don't realize it. So yeah, I mean, it's so funny because when I think of Los Angeles culture, I think mostly of Latino culture, I think.
Yeah.
Do you or no? Or when you think about it in a general sense? I guess not.
yeah.
Maybe you grew up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's I feel like you can't have LA without Mexicans.
Yeah.
It's just a part of it. But at the same time, there's just so many different faces of LA.
Yeah.
Like Hollywood's its own thing.
Right.
But I've been hearing and reading a lot of stuff from a lot of influencers talking about like, oh, LA's full of fake people and this and that. And I'm like, nah, man, that's just your shitty circle of friends and everyone trying to be entertainers.
Yeah.
Like the most of us, you know, real LA folks are totally different from that.
Dude, it's so, man, I love hearing you say this because this takes me to something that I noticed when I went and did you guys' show. And Joe is one of the creators or something of JK News.
Just Kidding News.
Just Kidding News, right? And they have a huge influence. And I've run across so many people now since being on there, and people will come and be like, I saw you on JK News.
That's cool. It's all the Asian kids, huh?
It's definitely people that work in like, that are near computers. We'll just leave it there. I'm like, let me check your butt for worms. Yeah.
Just in case.
Let's make sure you're a real fan.
You can use some apple cider vinegar for that.
Let me put a little bit of apple cider in your ass, you know? Yeah. Oh, Joe actually sent this cap full of apple cider vinegar for you. But no, one thing I noticed was how much more like me in joking around that you guys were than the way that I feel like I'm allowed to be by the Hollywood community.
Oh, yeah.
As opposed to being in your environment. And what I'm just now realizing, this is more of a Los Angeles community.
Yeah.
And that in that place I can joke and be more like I can at home, like the same place that I'm from.
Yep.
I can joke the exact same way and be myself, really be of just not have to just know that I'm coming from a good place and then still joke around.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Whereas in Hollywood and some of these like types of shows that are so produced and so outrageous, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And that was the first thing I was like, holy shit! Like, there's Asian people and Latinos that are and Mexican people that are joking about like fucking funny real shit.
Yeah.
They're not all offended by everything.
Yeah, 100%. That's why we created that show, is because it was like a way to really give the LA culture that isn't on screen.
Yeah.
You know, like Asians and Mexicans make a huge part of LA, but we're not represented in the media that way.
Right.
So when we created the show, it was like, yo, let me show you something that's real and let me give you guys a voice of what we represent. And I think a lot of people needed that. They're just like, oh shit, you know, this exists.
Dude, I needed that so much. We're sitting there, we're talking about something.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, this guy's a fucking retard or something, you know? And it's like, yeah, we don't mean the guy's actually, we're not making, I'm paraphrasing 100%. I don't remember what we're talking about.
But we say that all the time.
But
But
you
it
guys
doesn't mean.
joke around.
No, yeah, we do.
And people know your hearts are in a good place and that you're just joking.
Yeah, because we're just trying to get to the bottom of the truth. And we know, like, we're trying to get that living room friend talk out into the open.
Yes.
You know, and there's so much fake shit going around online anyway. So why hold back? Why be afraid? Like, I think people want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, dude. I love exactly what you're saying, man. And it's so funny. I was just talking this week on the regular episode of the podcast about, like, you know, trying to make sure that if and as, you know, the podcast has grown, my podcast, you know, has grown, to just check in and see what's going on with my own authenticity, you know, and not get too caught up in like, okay, trying to make, you know, put out certain stuff, or like just making sure that we're appeasing a bigger audience, but also just trying to stay true to like, the things that I think about, and also the things that I'm afraid of.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
dude, it's like, this is probably the longest conversation I've ever had with a Japanese person. You know?
Well, I mean, that's not your fault. I mean, you grew up in the South, and you know what the funny thing is, man? So, like, there's a part of me that kind of fantasizes and romanticizes living in the bayou. Like there was one, shit, you know what I mean? Can you imagine me living with overalls and just, because I love nature, right?
Yeah.
Like they always say people want what they can't have.
Yeah.
Right? And I wanted to have a crawfish farm.
Right.
Because I love eating crawfish.
Oh, yeah.
I love fishing.
Yeah.
And I love lazy rivers. I just like sitting on an inner tube and going down a lazy river.
Dude, you should go to Vietnam. Maybe at heart you're Vietnamese.
Maybe. You know what the funny thing is? So my girlfriend Jess, she's from Texas, right? And then when she got with me, she's like, man, I wanted to get with a LA Asian guy, but I ended up getting a redneck, and that's not what I wanted. And I'm like, same for her. You know, I wanted this, you know, good Texas white girl, but I ended up getting a very critical Asian woman who criticizes my every step. So we both is like, damn, man, we didn't get what we wanted. But
yeah, but we got each other.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny, man. Dude, this is so cool. Okay, I want to interrupt our interview with Joe to let you know about the simple messaging, reviews, and insights for local business. I'm talking about Podium. Podium uses the convenience of text messaging to become the obvious choice online. No more hold music, phone tag, or piling up of voicemails. 90% of consumers prefer messaging, and 99% of texts get opened. We know that texts, we always see them. So finally, Podium has found a way to take business into your SMS. It's convenient for customers and it's flexible for you. Everything from scheduling appointments to closing the deal is as easy as sending a quick text. It's great for auto shops, medical offices, large transaction retailers, furniture, jewelry, etc., home services, and professional services. Conversations that start with convenience end in more sales, and texting is as convenient as it gets. And Podium is how you're going to do it. Go to podium.com/TPW to get 10% off your monthly subscription. Meet your customers where their screens are. Go to podium.com/TPW to get started and save 10%. This past weekend is supported by HelloFresh. I started using HelloFresh again, and it's been great. I forgot about how nice it is to have the ingredients. You can have your lady over, your man, or someone you just met off the internet. It doesn't even matter. Look, you can learn a lot about somebody by making a recipe together. See if they're nice, see if they're friendly, see if they're dangerous, and maybe you should call the cops. HelloFresh, it's the meal kit delivery service that shops, plans, and delivers your favorite recipes and pre-measured ingredients so you can just cook, eat, and enjoy. And I knew you hear the cook part and you think that sounds like it's going to be hectic. It's not. And it's fun. If you got children or anybody small that you like to hang out with, they might love HelloFresh and you're going to love doing it together. There's 3 plans to choose from: classic, veggie, and family. Each box is made up of fresh, responsibly obtained ingredients from carefully selected farms and high-rated trusted sources. Hey, where'd you get those yams from? A trusted source. Simple recipes with pictured step-by-step instruction cards. Recipes take about 30 minutes. Get delicious filling meals delivered right to your door every week for less than $10 per serving and free shipping. And now, for $20 off your first 3 boxes, that's a total of $60 off, visit HelloFresh.com/Theo60 and enter promo code Theo60. That's HelloFresh.com/THEO60 and use code THEO60 for a total of $60 off. It's just so cool hearing you make me think about some of this stuff because, it's like this. Now I see a little bit more we're not against Hollywood, but
Right.
we both have a similarity of feeling like, fuck, this doesn't even represent my sense of humor.
No.
Where can I even find my sense of humor anymore? You
Yeah.
had to go make it. And I had to come and fucking be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
My sense of humor is so afraid
Yeah.
because I'm trying to work in Hollywood
Yeah.
that I can't. These guys are they're really doing the jokes that I want to be telling. Just fearlessly talking,
Yeah.
and knowing you're coming from a good place, but then still able to joke around. That's how it used to be.
Right. I think it's a little bit more dangerous though for white males right now.
Right.
So I think maybe in the past it was a little bit different. I mean, just 3 years ago, I remember watching your stand-up set 2015
Yeah.
on it was up on Netflix. After
Yeah.
you came on the show,
Yeah.
they were like, everyone was like, go watch Theo's stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
So I watched it and I was like, oh shit, this is a lot edgier Theo than
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But I can't even do that on JK News. Even we had to scale back.
Right.
Some of our word choices, our gay jokes, whatever. Like people
Yeah.
are, it's just a sensitive time right now, man. And I'm having a hard time adjusting because, like you said, even if we're coming from a good place, it outrages a lot of people.
Right.
We recently did this one article about a dude that got raped by this hot lady.
Damn.
Yeah, and then, but it's hard not to joke. Like every guy fantasizes that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, I have been, yeah.
And I got hated for it because they're like, you're not taking rape seriously. And I'm like, I can't. She's so fucking fine. I wish I
Yeah.
was raped by her too. But
That's hilarious,
yeah,
dude.
but I can't joke like that anymore because it hurts a lot of people. And then I had to kind of take a step back and go, do I want to be like the old guy that goes, back in my day, we were able to say those jokes.
I think you do, though.
You know what I mean?
I think you do want to be that guy. Like, in a way, like,
Yeah.
I'm not going against what you're saying here. Like, it's making me think, like, like, I hear what you're saying. Like, oh, you're not taking rape seriously. But it's like, I would take yes, if somebody broke into somebody's house and fucking raped them,
Yeah.
I take that extremely seriously.
Right.
Like, but it's so funny. I'm just listening to a book right now. This by Dr. I think the guy's name is Michael Gardner. It's called Out of the Shadows. And it's all about sexual addiction and those sorts of behaviors, and they're talking about this exact occurrence. And and he was saying in this book that if a 14-year-old or 15-year-old boy hooks up with like a 50-year-old, 40-year-old woman, a beautiful 30, they see that as a score in their book. They may later on in life see that as like a sexual abuse or something, but if a seemingly normal, can you look that up, Nick? Do you find it?
It's Michael Gardner, Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, is that it?
I
You see it?
think so.
I think it's called Out of the Shadows. It's a book. But anyway, he was saying that the kids see that as a score. They see that.
Yep.
And I think to myself, I'm 15.
Yep.
Because that's where your frame of reference is coming from.
Yeah.
When you were 15
Exactly.
or 16.
Like now, as an adult, I know I feel like I don't even have to say that that's wrong.
Right.
Duh, it's wrong. Kids being taken advantage of. But then why can't we play with the idea of how funny it is?
Yeah.
Because that's a dream come true for like a lot of 15-year-olds.
Yeah, Dr. Patrick Carnes. I'm sorry,
what's
I had
this?
it wrong. That's it, Out of the Shadows. Understanding sexual addiction. But it's not really as much about sexual. It's about sexual addiction, but it's also just about how we behave sexually and how we view things and how different patterns in our lives and stuff like that.
That's some deep shit, Theo. I didn't know you were into like reading textbooks like that.
Oh, dude, that book is fascinating, bro.
Nice.
Dude, it's fascinating how like our behaviors and what we do, like even in like cyber sex and like how pornography affects like how it affects us and like and just how things become compulsive, so where they're not just for fun anymore. And you're doing something like hell, I won't even start my car until I've jerked off.
Oh, that's true. That's kind of like when a lot of us just can't go to sleep until we fucking beat it.
Yeah. That's crazy,
Yeah,
though, really.
that's true.
Because then over time, it's like you're not at one time you were like, I can't wait to get home to fuck this imaginary girl in my room, and that was healthy.
Yeah.
That's like,
true.
oh man, this bad little vixen's gonna get it, this invisible 37-year-old cafeteria worker with nice tits, because that's who you fantasized about.
That's
because that's the only
true.
person you knew. The only woman I saw every day was fucking Miss Belinda, and her face would just fly by with this scoop of fucking steaming tots right in front of her face, dude.
Or that Sears catalog.
Yeah. And I remember one year she lost a couple pounds, bro. She lost probably only like 9 pounds. And it probably wasn't even a diet. She just had the flu.
Damn.
But I remember one day seeing that steaming scoop come up towards my face and being like, man, I'd like to honestly bust all over that lady's front,
Maybe that's why our imagination is so good. We had to work with something,
Yeah,
shape it.
Yeah, your imagination had to come home and figure it out. Dude, I remember my mom being like, did somebody draw circles on all your pillows? And I'm like, those are tits. Have some respect for the tits I drew. But yeah, we had to imagine it. But now it's like, like you're saying, for me, it got to be a habit where I had to jerk off before bed. And then it was just then it's a habit.
That's true.
Like my brain isn't able to have like that influence, that manly influence inside of me while it rests at night, and it becomes a compulsive behavior. But that's what a lot of that book was about. But so people got offended that you joked about a 14-year-old or whatever hooking up with an older woman.
Yeah, I mean, and it happens all the time. Like there was this one article where there was this hot teacher that would like do it with her students.
Oh yeah.
Her high school students were about 15 to 17. And I'm like thinking, if I was at that age, that would be like a movie, like a dream come true.
Yeah. That would be like Rudy.
Right.
You'd be like the Japanese Rudy Rudiger. The guy who like comes into and gets into the good school, and then finally for one day, the smoking hot white teacher that's only been banging the other students, the other white boys in the class, finally lets you run out there onto her field.
And it's like, damn, I made it, you know? Yeah.
Rudy.
That basically...
And you sack her one time.
Exactly. And she keeps inviting me for extra credit or whatever.
Dude, and then you go back to working at the mill, you know, the Japanese silk
it's
mill.
Like forbidden love, you know? Yeah.
And you're just spraying silk out of your butt at the factory for the rest of your life.
It's like Asian roots. Yeah, but I was like, so we could laugh about this. We could joke about it, right? But a lot of, I thought our fans would be cool with it because they are cool with a lot of crazy shit that we say.
I felt like it was very cool over there.
Right.
Now, do you think there's a legion of people that are just want to not be cool with stuff? Because that seems to be
it could be
a persona these days. It's like, somebody who's just unhappy and doesn't like winners, doesn't like it when people are doing well.
That's true. I mean, there's that too. But when it's a majority of the comments, I can kind of tell.
Oh, there you go. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean, it's all in execution too. I think sometimes we forget the fact that, sometimes we have to put it out there and say, hey, I think this is wrong, but joke about it. Because I think you do that really well.
Yeah.
Like when you had your bit about the special kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that's hilarious because, man, it's hard to go there.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you make fun of that? But then you did it in a way where we were laughing together instead of laughing at the special kid. Yeah. So I was like, dang, that's cool.
Yeah, that was my friend. I mean, it's tough because it's like, so am I not allowed to talk about somebody that has Down syndrome because they, like, so then it's almost like I have to exclude them from my life.
And I think that's even worse.
I agree.
Because you're not humanizing them anymore. You're like making them so sacred and special that like you can't make fun of them.
Right. Or you can't even include them without fear of making fun of them. So then it's like, there's a person with Down syndrome. I'm not even going to talk to them because if I do, someone's going to take a picture or someone's going to say something or someone's going to, if I shake their hand the wrong way, I'll give them a hug or something that then people are going to blow that out of proportion just to, it makes it be like, let's make them like a Buddha. I can go near them, but I can't interact.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. But I mean, I don't know, man. I grew up around like my mom's a roaster. She's a roaster-roni, man. She loves roasting people.
That's so funny,
dude. She'll call out.
This is so crazy.
So I was in Japan, right? And then so my grandma's at a retire, like she's at this Alzheimer home, like just what do you call
damn
those
right, and you better stay in there. You better stay in there, Judy.
And one of these nurses, like he looks like a big like sumo wrestler, right? And then so I was babysitting my friend's kid at the time. We went to go see my grandma, and then he wanted to impress the kid, and he was like, hey, remember me? I'm a ninja. I'm a warrior. And my mom's like, shut up, fool. You're fat as hell. You're a sumo wrestler. And we were dying. Like everyone was dying. And then she just went in on him. And I'm like, that's what life should be. Like, just roast each other. Have fun, Like, don't take it too serious, And he was laughing too. But I don't know if it's a cultural thing. Like, you just roast each other all day. I don't know. I just feel like people are really sensitive.
Yeah. I feel like and you may have a rare mom. Like sometimes you just get that mom that's just true. Wilding out, and she's having fun. Is that like a regular Japanese cultural thing at all? Or that's just like your mom is also a rare element?
I feel like culturally it doesn't sound as harsh as it is in English. So it sounds cute and endearing. So the words sound like playground talk. Yeah. But the things that they're saying, if you said it here, it's me. Like outside of even just Japanese culture, right? It's like talking about weight isn't a big deal. Like you'll go to family gatherings and then people, whether you're Filipino or Chinese or whatever, some aunt is gonna make a comment about you being too fat or too skinny.
Right.
And it's just the way that they talk and joke around.
Yeah.
But out here, it's kind of touchy. You don't say things like that. You don't get too personal. But over there's no such thing as like personal.
Right.
People say whatever the hell they want.
Well, it's like we started to put property, one of the things where we switched from being tribal to being untribal and really started claiming possession was when we made property. like property lines.
Yeah.
Like when a guy said, okay, we're not a group anymore. This is my property line. And then another guy did that. And he's like, okay, well then this is my property.
Yeah.
And then a guy's like, okay, well this is my wife. Like, things weren't communal anymore.
Yeah.
And who's that book that everybody reads that was on Rogan, the guy, Tribe? No, what is it called?
That sounds familiar, man.
It was about...
Sebastian Younger.
Yes.
Was it about marriage?
Tribe. That's the book, right? And so this is a lot about, and this talks about this book by Sebastian Younger, and it talks about when things went from being communal, where we all worked as, like when people would move in a tribe, it was like sometimes you would fall in love with the woman across the tribe, but that was okay, and there were different kids in the tribe, but the whole tribe took care of everyone's kids.
I heard about that.
And and you were communal, and sometimes you might have went for 2 years and been in love with one woman, and then you switched to someone else, and she found another mate in the tribe.
Yeah.
But it was
cool.
And it was cool. It was very communal, and you can almost feel that in our I feel like if I think about that, when I think deep down in my soul, that seems like I could do that well,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
my feelings would be hurt sometimes, but also I would have feelings of love, and no matter what feelings I was having, I would always have my tribe to take. That would always, I'm included no matter what. Like that was the thing about a tribe. No matter if you were the one whose heart was being broken, or you lost a child, or something, you always had your group. You always had your tribe.
That's one of the goals that I want to have with my crew. Is we want to have a cul-de-sac of just all of us living together. And we would help each other like in a village way, where like we'll take care of each other's kids and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's that same book, but I was watching this documentary about like the idea of love in the sense that we know today. It's just very new, like to our society as human beings. We didn't know it that way. Romantic love with just one partner for the rest of our lives is a brand new concept. Like, and it might be that book or it might be something else, but don't quote me on this. But I know a specific thing that I learned about it is there was one Native American group that like the rule was if you have sex with a woman that's pregnant, then any man that has sex with her during her pregnancy becomes the father of the child.
Oh, wow.
So then the kid could come out with like 10 daddies.
This might have been Sex at Dawn, that Chris Ryan book. It sounds like it's part of that. Or it could have been this.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, but it was a good thing for her because, when the kid comes out, then there'll be 10 daddies.
Right.
And then all the 10 daddies could like teach the kid how to hunt, how to,
How to jump. Like different dads would have different skills.
Yeah.
And the love is there for everyone. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that
And
must
then
have felt awesome.
the responsibility was if there's a kid crying and the closest adult is kind of responsible of picking up that kid and just like helping the kid out. So there was more of a community, and I think there's just a spread responsibility. So I'm like, dang, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's one thing you get in like a neighborhood, you know, or you get
like in a small town.
Yeah, in a small town. Like I remember feeling definitely a lot more sense of, there were only so many kids on our street. So all of the parents, everybody kind of knew that, 9 or 11 kids on our street are in a certain, area or something.
Did you grow up in a big family? Do you have a lot of brothers and sisters?
I got 3 brothers and sisters, but outside of that, that was it.
Yeah.
Both my parents, my father wasn't an only child, but all of his siblings died. And then my mother was an only child. So we didn't have a big family. It's growing now. With my sisters.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's almost like we're pioneers in our family. And we also, my father was 70 when I was born. He was an old man, right?
Damn.
And so he had a family from a first marriage. And one of them, they were like extremely well off.
Yeah.
And then we were not, And so it was always this crazy because they owned like things all over the city and like huge theaters and like neighborhoods and like it was just crazy that like, my dad had this whole other family.
Yeah. So your dad was like big man in town, but you saw all the success, but you didn't get a piece of that.
Right. We didn't get a piece of that. Well, he gave that away to his kids or before he had us.
Yeah.
Once he had our family, his kids disowned him.
Oh.
From what I understood.
Yeah. Were you like the secret family?
A little bit, but then he didn't. I don't think he cheated on his wife with my mom, but I think we were like this separate family. And at that point, like we never interacted with his kids. Like I never saw his kids from his first marriage until I was at the funeral, and then that's the first time I ever saw them.
That's crazy. Do you consider them your siblings though?
No.
There's just
Yeah, they've never ever reached out. I mean,
Wow.
I know my siblings made some efforts to reach out. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think that
yeah.
they have any interest, you know.
Damn.
And the biggest loss of that is just that we don't get to share whatever elements that they know and whatever elements we know about our
Yeah.
dad, you know. So it's almost like he would be more of a complete person in our hearts if we got together to share that.
Damn.
But for some reason, you know, I don't think that seems like that's not an interest of theirs. You
It's
know,
kind of like a Louisiana Game of Thrones kind of.
a little bit, bro.
You know, it's like
Yeah, like everybody's fucking related.
It's
but
like-
nobody wants to share the photos.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like everybody's gotta. Do you want to be friends? Do you not? Do you want to continue the family? Do you want to team up? Because man, that's pretty crazy.
Genetic war. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy when people start hiding their semen in the other room. Like, you ain't getting
Yeah,
any of
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, you want to make a baby, you better fucking find something.
You know what's a trip is so my girlfriend's got a little brother, and she always thought he was her half brother until he took the 23andMe. And her mom's
It
always
turns out what? He's Muggsy Bogues?
no. It turns out he's a full brother.
Oh, really?
But this whole time, her
So-
dad was like, "I don't believe the you know that he's my full son." So the thing is, her mom ran away to Ohio from Texas with the two kids, or she had her little brother there, and then she got into a real bad place, got in with the wrong crowd, her mom, and then she lost custody. So
in Ohio?
yeah, she
Yeah.
lost custody. I think she got into drugs and shit.
Oh, that
like
can
that.
happen
She
in Ohio, dude.
Yeah, yeah. So then, when that happened, her dad's family, my girlfriend's dad's family, they got a hold of my girl Jess and brought her back to Texas, but not the little brother.
Oh, really?
So they grew up separately. They still talked and stuff like that. And then you know, her mom kept saying, "Yeah, that's his son." But then no one really believed it because of how crazy she was.
Yeah.
And then when they took the 23andMe test, it was like, "Oh, by the way, you're related to these people on her dad's side." And bam, it was like, "Oh shit, he was my full son." So then they all decided to kind of meet in Texas and all that. And I was there to see everything unfold. And I was like, "This is crazy."
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That must have been a lot, huh? It's a lot for her.
Man, I mean, like, I was like, isn't that kind of cool, though, that you find out that he's your full brother, not your half? And then she's like, yeah, it feels like we're closer, just
Yeah.
even though we've been the same.
Oh, yeah.
Just to know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I was like, damn, that's crazy. I was just like,
Family's wild.
yeah. Watching it all unfold, man. I was like there with the popcorn, just wow.
What is something, do Japanese people like white people or not?
Oh, yeah, man. I mean, you know, there was bad times in World War II, but I feel like,
And who did it in World War II? Let's be honest.
I don't know. You see, you know what the weird thing is? I have family on both sides.
Yeah.
So my uncle saw Pearl Harbor happen
Wow.
in Hawaii. He was a little watercress farmer boy, and he saw the planes drop, and that's what made him join the American
slinging
Army.
crest out there, slinging crest,
That little-
boy.
Yeah, yeah. And on my
Really? That made him join the American Army?
yeah, because he was like, they don't think we're American, so I'm gonna do the most American thing possible
Wow.
and join the army. And that's what a lot of Japanese did during that time that lived in America. Because I don't know if you know about the whole internment camps and stuff, but a lot of Japanese people on the West Coast were sent away to camps because they weren't trusted.
Wow.
And then during that time,
And were y'all untrustworthy or not?
no, man, they were super trustworthy. I mean,
what I would
they
think.
would send World War I Japanese veterans into the camps too, and it's
Wow.
like, I already fought for this country, bro. What the hell?
Yeah.
But a lot of
Dang.
them were like, you know what? Maybe we weren't American enough.
So they wanted to prove their love for America.
Yeah.
And so they did the most American thing they could think
And
is
they
to join
joined the military. Yep. And then,
Wow.
it's actually the most decorated unit in U.S. history. It's called the 442nd unit.
That's amazing.
And
man.
they have the most Purple Hearts, the most everything. It's like whatever we do, man, we got to get an A+. You know what I mean?
Of course. And did you guys, did they have, is there a film or documentary about that?
Yeah, there's a few things out there, but I think one of the reasons why there's so much like separation or what it looks like is because a lot of these things aren't taught in school.
Yeah.
So no
Yeah, I
one
never
knows.
knew that.
Yeah, no one knows our contribution to the U.S. No one we're always looked upon as foreigners and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So I have a lot of like, family members that have been here for like 3-4 generations and stuff.
Wow.
Especially in California, man. Japanese and Chinese have been coming here since the 1800s.
Oh yeah.
And if you go even further back, Hawaii before even was a part of U.S.
Well, everybody goes to Hawaii.
Right, but
It's nice.
but yeah, they were out there for a long ass time.
Wow.
And then so on my mom's side though, we have there was a lot of military officers on the Japan end.
Dude, that's cool, man.
yeah.
Well, you know what's interesting is, and how we get some of those ideas. So I think about how I get some of those ideas growing up and not thinking of someone that is Japanese or
Yeah.
someone that looks like you. And in my first thought, I wouldn't know. I think I don't know if I would go. Do people go Latino as well? Do they say a mix with you? What do they say?
I don't know. I
Or
mean,
people guess.
if they've been around, I think Asians, they can tell.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can't even tell each other apart, too.
Oh, really?
No, we can't do it.
Oh, my
No.
God.
That's a myth.
Y'all got to
man.
make that announcement.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, that's a myth.
Because we think always you guys have like some insider trading there going on with it all.
It's
Like,
we could tell if they're from Asia because they'll dress a certain way and they'll speak the language.
Filipino is easy to guess.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, if I hear the language, I could tell what they're speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes a Laotian will sneak in and you'd be like,
Yeah, that's
you were
true.
Filipino. The Laotians are very sly.
Yeah, back in the day, I couldn't tell the difference between a Vietnamese
Mm-hmm.
and a Chinese.
Wow.
It sounded the same to me.
I could see that Vietnamese for me would look like they have a little bit darker skin.
Yeah, yep.
You know?
But there are some real light-skinned Vietnamese too, because
really?
they're mixed with Chinese. See, man, it's all crazy, dude. There's like,
Bullroderings.
there's a lot of that going on.
Dude, that's wild, man.
But yeah, man.
Well, so we just didn't have anybody that was like that.
Yeah.
We didn't have. So of course, and also on television, you didn't see any characters like that.
Yeah, you
all they
would
had was
see-
that little magic guy on that boat, little fucking
Yeah.
juggling Daniel, whatever that guy's name was.
Or we're always like some foreigner.
Yeah.
Or some exchange student.
Yes.
Or like a liquor store owner or something. But I mean, I can't say I blame the media because if you think about the brave Asians, right? The ones that move into the rest of America,
Right.
they are the foreigners.
Right.
They're the ones like that set up a nail salon in the middle of the Midwest or something.
Right.
Because it's oversaturated out here in LA. And, communities out here that's been here for about 100 years plus, they kind of stick to their own. Like they're not out there making a ton of
Noise.
yeah, that's the difference. So I think we're kind of like the quiet Americans. Like
Yeah.
we've been around for a long time, but people aren't sure what to make of us,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I think, yeah, I wish that where I was from was like more of a quiet Americans. I think a lot of it is. I think sometimes the media just does a lot of things, the news, and says that these places are being loud and these places are
Yeah.
being like this, and they're really not, It's like, I think it's really interesting that when you say that, so now do you get upset if you guys, like say you guys, there's a group of someone from Japan or an Asian person that goes into a smaller town in the Midwest and opens up, like you said, businesses that are pretty, like in New Orleans, there's a lot of Vietnamese fishing people, like in that industry. There's a lot of people in the service industry, right? Like I have some friends that are wedding planners. They're like, but do you get upset if there's a sitcom or a joke where they joke about an Asian nail shop? You guys don't get upset though, do you?
Well, I mean, there are people that might. I personally don't. I don't
Right.
care. I mean, because I don't think that they represent who I am. But
Right.
there's a lot of people out there that do.
I see.
And these are, I think, majority of them is because, like, they might be the only Asian kid in their neighborhood.
Right.
And then their friends see that and think that that's who they are.
I see.
But I mean, you're in LA, and
Yeah.
you have access to a lot of us,
Right.
So you know that there's a huge range.
Yeah.
But that's almost as if, like, let's say you were the only white guy in Japan, right?
Right.
And let's say somebody from Russia comes and does something, and then they look at you, and then you're like, "Yo, we're not the same.
Right.
I'm an American white guy, and that's a Russian guy.
Yeah.
That's the same thing.
Oh, I see.
So there's-
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it's a totally different, from north to south. I mean, Asia's a huge, huge plot of land.
Yeah. And part of it
So-
is, you're right, they just don't teach us enough about it.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time that I heard about the 42nd, did you say it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just you right now, telling me that.
Oh, wow.
And so it's like, you know, it just gives me a little bit of a different idea now when I think about the military.
Yeah.
Because all I ever thought was, you know, when I was a kid is G.I. Joe. You know, you see on there, you know, and he's white. Or he was white, and, you know, everybody in there was, well, they had a little bit of diversity, but it was, you know, you don't even know what colors they were using. It was very vague. It was like mostly white guys and like a purple guy that was supposed to be everybody else, kind of like a light, kind of a mauve or something.
And I think that's, I mean, going back to Hollywood or just mainstream media and all that stuff, I think they had a chokehold on the information for so damn long.
Yes.
That we never were able to have this conversation like a Japanese dude from California and a white guy from Louisiana. You know, like they controlled how our images were.
Yeah.
And I grew up thinking white people from the South were automatically just racist and ignorant and all that stuff until I started traveling and meeting people. And I'm like, man, you guys are like the nicest people on earth, man. Way nicer than California people, you know, like. And it changes my perspective. And I think that's what the internet is doing now is like, it's making this possible.
Right.
And I think I like what's going on now because it's like all these possibilities where our grandparents never had the chance to do. Everybody had to do it through the news or through the mainstream medias
that was
and
the
talk
only
shows.
way.
That was the only way, man. Or in a small little community setting, but I mean, traveling miles apart and meeting together, becoming friends, having fans that are like, you know, did you ever think you would have Asian fans from California, right?
Never.
And then I have fans that are just like 50-year-old Midwest moms and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just, this is crazy, but this is cool because we're figuring out that we're more alike than different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, as you're saying some of this stuff, man, I'm thinking back to like suddenly when you're talking, I'm feeling like being a kid and like, like, I mean, I grew up in an environment where we probably were like, if you'd have listened to some of our conversations and stuff, like you'd probably be like, oh, these kids are fucking racist, you know?
Yeah.
But a lot of the stuff was just things we just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, and like, and when you're at like certain levels of class levels, socioeconomic, the only thing you can different. Everybody's so fucking poor. The only thing you even know, like you just point out people's the easiest things to see.
Yep.
And we never had any influence.
Yeah, of course.
We never had any influence outside of black and white. So like, but hearing that when I was on your show and you guys are joking about the shit that I used to joke about and feel okay joking about, I'm like, dude, these people are more like me than I am like me, which was just crazy.
Because you
man.
changed.
Yeah.
Because you're afraid to say things, right? But I mean, that it makes sense though. And it goes both ways. Like I have this theory, right? That whoever's in control of your area controls your mind. So what I mean by that is like growing up in LA, having a lot of people that are controlling the education, that are super left-wing liberals. The type of stuff that we grow up learning is white people are the enemy.
Right.
And then I grew up with maybe like 5 white kids in all of my schools up until I went to college. And you know, in a lot of minorities' minds, you automatically just think white people are gonna be racist. They're not gonna include you, and it's kind of like a bad place to start. And I don't think that's the truth, but that's the type of education that we're kind of drilled to believe, and it already sets us up in a way where there's separation. It doesn't come from a place of like, oh, we're all American,
Right.
and I'm sure too, like hearing from all of my friends that grew up in red states, like just like what you said, you didn't grow up hearing about all the contributions that minorities did. So then you think,
We just grew up Karate Kid, and if there wasn't, you'd be like, oh, you karate, you just do a karate stance.
I can see why there's so many, you know, white guys coming out thinking like, man, we're doing all this stuff and we got to give out handouts. We're working so hard and you guys get to do it. It makes sense. You know, I get it because I'm right in the middle and I see it all happening and I'm like, oh shit, we're fighting for scraps.
Right.
Like what's really going on?
Yeah.
You know? And I think it's just the programming. And one of the things that made me go, holy shit, this is really happening is when I was in Texas, at my girlfriend's family reunion, I was just scrolling around looking at the news. It's all red state conservative stuff. Go to Arizona, same thing on my phone. I'm like, this is crazy. I never clicked this stuff. When I get back in California, all liberal news.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, people aren't given a choice to look at two different things and come together and none of that stuff. It's just you're taught one thing, and if you don't believe that, then you're a traitor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fucked up.
Man, it's, you know, I was just talking to Nick a while ago about, like some things that's been missing, and I feel like it's been missing too, even in my own life and childhood growing up and everything, is a lot of conversations have never been had. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's like a lot of conversations have never been had. It's like, you know, I need to hear that, you know, there's, you know, that Hollywood is like, yeah, that's a certain neighborhood in Los Angeles, but there's still a huge predomination of people here.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of Latino fans that come out to my shows and stuff.
Yeah.
And I have some Middle Eastern fans that come out too. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's
like,
so true.
How the fuck are these guys out of their minds, you know?
Yeah.
But so a lot of that stuff's just like, yeah, it makes me think like, wow, like, if we can, how do we realize that we're not our programming, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part, because that comes with knowing yourself, self-control. I mean, like, I always say comics sometimes make the best philosophers because they went through a lot of shit.
Right.
But most people, I think you kind of don't understand that you have control over your thoughts, control over your actions, control over what you read. They're just reacting to life.
Yeah.
You know, I was an impulsive ass motherfucker, so I know personally, like, I just did drugs whenever I wanted to.
Wow.
And I didn't think about the next step. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's how most people live their lives. So they don't know, you know, that a lot of this shit can be dealt with if they just took better care of themselves or they thought before they acted. Yeah.
Yeah, we've become very responsive.
Yeah.
You know, we've become very impulsive because it's almost one of the only feelings that we have left sometimes is reaction, because we're not interacting, I think, as much.
Yeah.
And when you're not interacting, you're just, you're not getting the full picture. You're just getting this little bitty bullet, but you're not seeing the whole weapon, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of shit started changing for me when I started traveling.
Yeah.
Seeing people face to face, meeting people, instead of like letting what I was taught about, you know, certain people are boogeymen or whatever.
Yeah.
Then you just start being afraid of everything, you know? And if someone represents that kind of thought, then you attack them like, hey, you're one of those people. You're racist or you're whatever. You don't even have a conversation. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy, because I was like that.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny, man. I was like that too. You know, I mean, growing up, like, even though I had a black friends, I was in a group called NFL, you know, which was for N-word for life, you know?
Damn.
I know. I was in the only fucking white kid. I definitely should not have been allowed in the group.
Oh, it was a gang, like a street gang?
It was a black club. It was a black club.
That's tight.
Basically, people were like, do you guys have guns? I'm like, we don't have dads and we have bikes. So what is that?
It was like a crew. It was like a crew. Like a
But I was like, but then I had a lot of anger sometimes towards black kids because, you know, I got jumped by black kids a couple times.
Yeah.
Man, and it just made me, and some of them have been my friends and I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah.
And then at that point, like, we also kind of went our separate ways, where like most of the black kids in my town didn't go to school after 8th grade. They just disappeared. You know, they didn't go to school at all. You know, they were welcome and allowed just like anybody else. They were our classmates, but they just disappeared.
Yeah.
You know, they went off and got caught up in other stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I had a lot of, but I have to, you know, I realize now, like, I don't have anger towards like individual black people, you know, but I do have, there are probably remnants of that, you know, where it does make me angry sometimes. But that doesn't mean that towards a general population that I feel that way.
No. I think the older I become, I start treating it as a case by case.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think
It's hard to do that when you're a kid, though.
No, I mean, I even got into it with a neo-Nazi gang in Huntington Beach, like on the beach, got into a rumble for no reason. But then does that change my view on white people as a whole? No, like, but back then I hated. I was just like, well, fuck, they're all racist.
Yeah.
They all want to fight me.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like a street gang. You know, you can't grow up thinking, well, I got robbed by a Crip, so I hate all blacks. Like, they don't represent the general public of that group. You know, it doesn't make sense. But when you're a kid, all you see is that dude did me wrong, so all of them must be like that.
And some of that's a safety precaution as a child.
I think
like as
so.
a child, if you get hit by lightning,
yeah,
dude, the next time you see a fucking feel a raindrop on your cheek, you're gonna be like, "Fuck the sky," you know.
I bet you there's some kind of evolutionary truth to that shit.
Oh,
That's
for
kind of
sure.
like if a snake bites you, then you're afraid of snakes, right?
Yeah, well, you're not. Yeah, you're afraid
Yeah.
of at least the amphibian area of the zoo.
Yeah. So if an Asian dude like steals your shoes, then you always wash your shoes around Asians or something, right?
And it would be silly for you not to.
right?
It would be silly for you as a child, as a young person.
Right.
It would be silly for you not to.
Yeah.
Like, it would be abnatural, I think, for you not to. Mm-hmm. Instinctually. But as we age, if we're able to, if you have the blessing enough to live long enough,
Yeah.
and then you can start to see things in a little bit different.
It's kind of like that. You know about that stupid ass hipster couple that went to ISIS territory and they ended up getting killed.
got jacked out.
Because they're on the other end of like niceness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, everyone's cool and shit. It's
Everybody
like,
ain't cool.
No, man.
And a lot of places aren't cool. Like, and all America's like going through a time where also like diversity is like only really been like happening heavily into a lot of different cities. Like since colleges started, really bringing in a lot of different cultures.
Yeah.
Like a lot more students are moving in from different countries and going to like universities. Like international students, and like so you're starting to see like a lot more cultures pop up in America, especially like in the last 20, 30 years. Where they're becoming prolific and getting voices like you guys have at JK News. Like you guys have a huge audience, 4 million, 5 million people. And it's like, and you have a voice, and the crazy thing is that I realize the voice isn't that different.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? I think it's all about us being a real democracy, like America being able to come together and share voices of like what we really mean, like are like us, like real people from the community talking about how they feel and what they think, not our representatives or not what the media says.
Agreed.
So, because like you're in Hollywood, you know how much they control the script, you know how much.
It's the worst. That's why we're here. That's why you and I are doing our own things.
Yes, and people, I think they're tired of that shit. That's why they're listening to people like us, because that's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear that bullshit when you turn on the news and then, it's fake as hell and it's so sensationalized, and they always focus on negative shit.
Yeah.
To get people all riled up so they could click that and click this. And I think what's happening now is they're so desperate that they gotta look for shit that makes people go, oh my God, another guy died. I gotta click this. I gotta click that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten that way. But the blessing in that, I think, long term is that a lot of that news has jumped the shark. It's like, oh, people are like, oh, this isn't. If it costs $500,000 to make that show today, you're like, a lot of people getting paid along those lines to have an influence and have an input. Whereas, things can be more grassroots at our level.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you don't make, nearly the money you make off of advertising on a big show, but also you have the blessing of like being able to try and have a moment to be genuine.
Yeah.
And at least, and recognize people are. I even feel bad about probably some of the things I've said about and to Asian people growing up, sitting here with you. It makes me think about that a little bit.
But what's cool is that humans grow, like we change,
Yeah.
Even every cell in our body, every 10 years, it's a whole different person.
Yeah.
And the type of people we are, it should never stick with us forever.
Yeah.
Like I've done some stupid shit in the past that, I would never do today.
Yeah.
But that's what kind of sucks is like nowadays, like people will dig up some shit that you said 5 years ago and then kind of, make that haunt you. I fucking hate that shit.
I hate that too.
Yeah, because it sucks. It's like you got to give people a chance to change. You got to give people a chance to say, I don't think like that anymore. This is what I believe now, and I learned my lesson. Because how else are we going to grow?
Yeah, that's the thing. How do we expect America to change?
Exactly.
If we're not even willing to let an individual change.
Yep.
Like you're going to hold somebody else accountable for something 10 years ago. It's kind of some of the same group think. It's like, or some of the same think that goes on in America. Like, I can't do anything about somebody white that was here fucking 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I mean, my father's from Nicaragua. My mother grew up in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, like the first stop on the Underground Railroad, like the only place to get off the train. You know,
Yeah.
like my family wasn't involved in all that kind of shit, you know,
Yeah.
and the racist stuff. But it's like, yeah, you have to let people change. You have to. It's so true, man. And I have to remember it. You know.
Yeah, and then it's all about not taking anything personally, because it might be that you're just a representation of what they, you know what I mean? Like maybe
yeah.
some white dude
Did something wrong to somebody.
yeah, or like, and then they look at you like, oh,
Fuck this dude.
yeah, you know, or you just don't know. Like that's what I came to realize. It was like, man, it's not about me. It's their image. It's their reality. I'm just a character in their show.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe they got swindled by an Asian dude, and then they're like, I can't trust another Asian ever again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Oh yeah, the Chinese finger trap. They have you put in all 10 fingers, and then
Yeah.
they steal your wallet. That old trick, you're like,
that little
can't even
finger
stop
thing.
them. Oh yeah. Well,
Damn.
I remember a guy pulled up in our college town one time and had 5 fingers. You put them in, they got trapped, and then they stole your wallet.
Oh shit, that's crazy, man.
Pretty awesome though. In hindsight, like, damn, this is fucking great, dude.
Yeah. I mean, but all I could do is be the balance.
Right.
You know, and
Oh, I love that, man. Be the balance.
yeah, because if they meet you and they realize, oh shit, you know what? I was wrong.
Yeah.
You know, instead of perpetuating whatever they thought, you could kind of like freaking Jedi mind trick them.
Yeah.
And then be like, no, I'm cool, man. This is cool.
Yeah, it's like you get a chance every time you meet somebody to show them a different example.
Yeah.
You know?
And I kind of think that this is something that minorities, or specifically in my culture, we knew that it was a group thing. Like anytime any other group encounters a Japanese person, we're representing. We have the whole race. We have that responsibility on our shoulder.
That's beautiful.
We can't look stupid. We can't treat people wrong because they might think all of us are that way.
Right.
But I don't think. I think this is a new concept for other people, because we're a collective society, so we think about the group all the time before ourselves.
Wow.
Versus in America, it's all about the individual thought, freedom, and stuff like that. So it's like,
Wow.
yo, man, that's that other white guy. That's not me.
Right.
Like, and I'm not even the same person, right? But there's got to be some type of connection that everyone's got to be responsible for, because if it's not you, they're gonna think that about another guy.
Right.
That might be your brother or your neighbor or
Yeah.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, how do we find out what that is? You know, that's tough. But I think, yeah, it's like, you know, we just keep trying to figure out. I don't know. We just stay open to change, I guess,
Yeah, for sure.
and be the balance, man.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of, I mean, I'm personally like looking at individual situations, right? And it's kind of like, well, we have poor white kids in America that grew up in shady ass situations, but they don't get government funding when it comes to colleges. They have to go through even more shit, and they're
Right.
called privileged, right?
Right.
When they're not. And then you have, maybe a guy like me that kind of fucked around, and I get a second chance because I'm a minority.
Right.
And my first time going to college, I just wanted the aid so I could buy weed.
Right.
So I could buy a pound of weed and sell that shit. So I'm taking advantage of the system when another guy that really worked hard at school could have went through it.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately, it worked out well for me because
Yeah.
I ended up sticking with college and I graduated. But individually, there's all these different cases where people are getting fucked, and they shouldn't be because they did their job. But then I can see where, people feel like, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like we're living like we're living like the life that 2 generations ago. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
we're living based on a previous generation all the time.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, and it's hard to put good boundaries and good practices onto something, or realistic boundaries and practices that are effective onto something that changes constantly. And
Yes.
America's just changing constantly.
Yeah, that's true. And you can't bring back old shit like this happened 50 years ago.
Yeah.
You're gonna do it again. But I think it's just the whole resentment, people holding on to.
People want to hold
anger.
resentments. That's
Yeah.
another thing. As a group, we got to realize the biggest thing you can do is say, let's move onward.
Yep.
That's the past, you know.
Because when I look at it in a positive way, man, we have so much talent. Like, we could get the best of every group.
Yeah.
You got the Asians doing math. You got the
Yeah.
You got like
Swedish people playing
building furniture
Yeah,
or something.
building
You know what I mean?
furniture,
Like whatever. And then you got the Louisiana people making like catfish and stuff, or like I don't know, sandwiches.
But I see what you're saying.
we got the best of the best, and that's what we need to like put up. And like,
Yes.
yeah,
We could say, look, we're still, this is fucking America, bro. And I think a lot of people still want to have American pride, though.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And I love it, you know, and it's so weird that that's not a cool thing anymore.
I know.
The cool thing is to hate America. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I'm the kind of guy that wants to clean up my house, not just move away when it gets dirty. You know, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, my father moved here, and gave us a chance, you know. It's like...
He came from Nicaragua?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I only say Nicaragua on certain groups of people because it's a risky word to say right now, dude. You know what I'm saying? Some neighborhoods, if I'm going to say it, I roll up the windows.
Oh, shit.
Because I don't want anybody hearing it. Yeah.
You might slip it up a little bit.
Oh, dude, it's just, all it takes is just a little bit of dry air in your throat.
That's crazy how you're half Nicaraguan, but then you still kind of identify with white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is where I grew up, and my dad was so old that he couldn't teach us a lot of like Spanish and stuff like that. You know, he taught us some stuff, and he took me one time to Central America, but man, no, look, dude, it's fascinating. I appreciate you coming in. Tell us real quick so we can finish on this note. Like, what kind of entrepreneurial stuff did you get into? Like
now, so right now I have a drink shop out in Westwood and Rolling Heights called Sip. It's matcha green tea. It's really delicious. Go check that out. I have a few booths over at this food event called Smorgasburg every Sunday. It's a shrimp daddy. It's garlic butter shrimp. You know what? I gotta take you. We should.
Dude, I go over there and shrimp up with you, boy. I fucking love shrimp, dude. You guys like shrimp?
Oh yeah, man.
Dude, what time do Japanese people go to bed at?
What?
What time?
I mean, the whole nation. I don't know, man. Like normal people, I don't know. But
7:30. I feel like you guys get in bed early, bro.
You think I'm that disciplined? All right, nowadays, I do sleep early. Nowadays, I do. But back in the day, though, I used to sleep at like 6 a.m.
Really?
Yeah, and go raving all night.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Japanese people go to raves, huh?
Yeah, the whole country, bro.
What kind of game do y'all play at the house if you have a board game? Like, was there like some traditional? I mean, we grew up playing. Was it just Monopoly and stuff like that?
Oh,
regular
like
stuff,
our
or was
stuff?
there?
Yeah. We would play, Monopoly, just regular board games. Yeah, I don't remember any Japanese specific games. No.
Yeah,
it would just be video games.
Oh yeah,
stuff like
Konami. Remember that company?
Konami. Yeah, that sounds
that what it's
familiar.
Yeah. What about Chinese checkers?
Yeah, what about that?
Oh, with the marbles?
Yeah.
Was that the Chinese checkers? Right? Yeah, I played that. I played that. Yep.
That's awesome.
Played chess, played dominoes, played everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you guys, do Japanese people have sex and stuff, huh?
Lots of it.
Really?
Whole lot.
Oh my God, bro. I can't even imagine that because I don't watch that kind of shit,
Yo,
bro.
man. Well, I don't like Japanese porn. But
you don't? Why?
Oh, man. It's not
can't
the same,
imagine
bro.
it.
It's weird. I mean, it's just a whole different world. I mean, you just gotta be in it. Like, it's kind of weird being in both worlds because it's like the opposite of the U.S.
Yeah.
Everything is just nuts. But they embrace sex. It's not a taboo. Like it's okay, but it's not like it's like breathing. Like everybody has to fuck, right? I mean, it's accepted to the point where they have nurses there that'll help beat off dudes that can't beat off anymore.
Wow.
Or like
old guys,
mentally disabled or whatever.
Oh,
like
wow.
they make their rounds every month and they're like, this is a human need. I'm gonna beat your ass off. Pop, pop, pop.
Damn, that's beautiful.
And then the guys are like happy and they're like, yeah.
The guy's like, oh, I'm gonna go rake the yard now that I got all this. Now that I'm putting these binoculars down. Wow, that's crazy, dude. They should have. If they had that service in America, though, I can't even imagine.
Right? It's kind of prudish here.
Yeah, America's pretty prudish, huh? Even though we think we're not.
It's crazy because like we are cool with violence, but we are not cool with a titty.
Yeah.
And that's the weirdest thing to me.
Do you think sex would be more fun if you were a white person or if you were a different ethnicity? Do you ever think about that?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I never thought of that at all.
I think I'd be more efficient if I were Japanese having sex.
Why?
I think I could get it done quicker.
You're
and just
doing
more
the time and shit.
Yeah.
You picture Japanese people to be always on time and like
definitely. Oh, here for the pussy. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that stereotype is not far from the truth.
Yeah.
Where like if you go there, the way the public transportation runs, it's on the dot, bro.
Wow.
You will never have a late train. I don't know how they do it.
Well, I think because to me, Japanese people seem respectful of time to the point where they're like, okay, that's when I'm supposed to be there, then that's when I will be there. Like,
Oh, yeah,
It's more
that's
of a.
true.
They seem to have more of an honor system in most things that they do.
Man, I used to get my ass beat if I didn't respect time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like more than grades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
My mom would be like, so I remember one time I got in trouble for graffiti. So we had a court date. And then she was like, fuck, I can't find this court. This is before GPS and shit. And then so what she did was she drove to look for the court the day before.
Wow.
So she timed herself how long it would take her to get to my hearing. So she could take me the next day and be on time.
My son will be on time.
I was like, damn, dude, that's
Dang.
crazy. But that's how she always did shit. Like, oh, if you have a job interview, you don't know how long it's going to take. You just go there the day before and kind of scope out the spot.
That's a lot of honor, man.
And I'm like, wow.
That's a lot of respect for the court system.
Yeah.
Dude, man, I would be Japanese next time. Dude, would you be white?
Yeah, I think it depends. Maybe,
Come
you know,
on,
like,
gotta say yeah.
yeah, man, like maybe Louisiana white, Louisiana white.
Bro,
yeah.
okay.
I'll be, because a crawfish farmer is something that I
could
want
see
to
you
do,
out
man.
there.
Yeah,
Dude, we should do a sketch or something. A sketch that like kind of shows
Like
some
trading
similarities.
places?
Yeah, and do some funny stuff
yeah,
though.
that'd be funny.
Um,
You know what I try? I want to try catching catfish with my hand, man.
oh, really? Dude,
It looks
that
crazy.
is- well, now you're talking about Japanese porn again.
That's a thing they do down there, right?
I know.
They catch the catfish.
They do some things, man. Oh, yeah, they do. But I think also you also, again, are referencing Japanese porn the way you keep moving your arm like that. Do we have a couple of, yeah, it's called noodling down there.
Noodling.
Did we have a couple of calls that came in for Joe?
Yeah, we got a couple.
All right.
All right. This might be a familiar voice.
Hey, this question is for Joe. It's Ryan Davis from the Tinfoil Hat Podcast. I didn't get to ask you this when you were on our show. Are you one of them superstitious type of Koreans?
Okay, first of all, Joe isn't Korean, dude.
Right.
He is Chinese. I'm joking.
Good
Joe
old
is-
Ryan. That's the lion hair Ryan, right?
Yeah, that's lion hair right from
Man,
Tinfoil.
homeboy looks like a straight Viking.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't he?
Oh, he could fuck in the snow, undeniably. Do you think that, what do you think, man?
Am I superstitious?
Yeah. Or does that start to fade away?
You know what? I think I grew up Christian. So my family is not a stereotypical Japanese family, where I think a lot of Japanese people are they dabble a little bit into the, as you can say, dark arts.
Oh,
yeah.
I know they're in them.
But it's an atheist country, so they're more
Really?
logical than anything because they
wow.
believe in science. But they do a little bit of the home religion is Shintoism, but it's kind of like how Catholicism might be for most people, where they just kind of do the ritual stuff, but
Right.
they're not like devout. But it's a part of the culture.
What about reincarnation? Is that a popular belief in?
Yeah, I think so, because Buddhism.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, though, I think they kind of they're more modernized now. Yeah. I didn't grow up with too much superstition around me. I mean, we would hear stuff, but everything else was the devil. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because we're so Christian.
yeah.
So it was like,
Oh, that's Satan, bro.
yeah. You don't play with the dark arts.
Oh, dude, I remember when somebody came home with a bag of Big League Chew, dude, and I fucking put so much of it in my mouth I couldn't even fucking breathe. Yeah, and one of the neighbors had to come over and help get it out of my mouth, and I was like, that's
Oh shit!
Satan.
You almost died.
Yeah.
You choked on a big Jew.
Dude, I'm a minor leaguer, bro, when it comes to fucking face snacks. Can we get one more question?
Dude,
Yes, sir.
I love Big Chew. By the way,
You do?
That shit was good.
Oh, yeah,
man.
we had a couple, we had when I got older, we had a couple of alcoholics. I think they were Chinese or just really tan.
Yeah.
And actually, it could have been a Mexican guy that had been in a fire, even. But
So he was always squinting.
he just real kind of bronzed and thin. But that they would stand and eat Big League Chew by the bus stop all day. And the bus stop was broken down. No bus ever went there.
So they just use it as a bench just to chill on?
I think they were waiting for the bus. They were literally there for probably about 6 years.
Oh my God.
Let's check one more.
What's happening, Theo? Joe?
What's up?
You have like a load of weapons you carry around with you. I was just wondering, besides the guns, what is your favorite weapon?
Oh, wow.
Peace out.
Well,
And
that's a
the
mega
sa-
fan because he knows all the stuff that I have.
Oh, that's cool. You have a lot of weapons. And that's Sam
Yeah,
Baber
yeah.
sent that question. And thank you, Sam. And he's from another country. I'm not sure where.
It sounds a bit
Mordor,
British.
it seemed like. Yeah, it seemed like British or maybe one of the small villages.
He's on break from Hogwarts and stuff.
Yeah, what's your favorite weapon?
Oh man, I'd say I just recently got this walking stick.
Okay.
So it looks like an old man's cane, but it's got all these spikes and ridges and stuff. And so when I walk around the neighborhood at night, I just use that because it looks pretty chill. But
What's in it?
no, it's just a cane, but it's solid as hell, and you can hook people with it. You can like kind of smack them around, and it just looks like a geezer's cane. Yeah, but before that, I used to walk around with a big staff, like
Yeah.
I'm freaking Merlin.
Wow, dude.
So, and then the cops wouldn't even bat an eye because it was like, it's just some
Asian guy with a cane.
guy in Little Tokyo with the cane, man. I just fit the stereotype. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just fitting the stereotype, man.
With
That's
a
all.
big walking stick. I mean, it's huge. It looks like a wizard's staff.
Yeah.
So I'm walking around there, and if some crackhead wants to get too close, I just
You'll serve him some crack.
yeah, I'll serve him some.
We're just living out stereotypes. Joe Jitsukawa, thank you so much for being here today, bro.
Yo, man, thank you, Theo. I loved being like, man, I was really looking forward to being on the show, and
Thanks,
I'm like,
dude.
it's pretty awesome. Always talking to you, man.
Yeah, same
yeah.
same here, man. I really appreciate it, dude. It's been neat to like your buddy Bart, who works with you on JK News, just texting with him the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been neat, man. Like, cause my circle of friends and my life has been like, it's been diverse in the white world and in some other ethnicities, especially when I was younger growing up. But mostly like you said, here in Los Angeles, even though like outside of like comedy and doing comedy, like most of my friends are kind of a little bit similar, you
Yeah.
know, similar to me.
Yeah.
But it's neat to feel like that there's commonalities and that could change,
Yeah, man, 100%.
So we'll have to talk about more stuff in the future.
Yeah, for sure. We'll go get some burgers and shrimps and rice and mix it all up.
This dude wants shrimp so bad, huh? Joe Jitsukawa, thank you so much.
Peace.
Now I'm just floating on the breeze, and I feel I'm falling like these leaves. I must be cornerstone. Oh, but when I reach that ground, I'll share this peace of mind I found. I can feel it in my bones, but it's gonna take a little time for me to set that parking brake and let myself unwind. Shine that light on me. I'll sit and tell you my stories. Shine on me.
Good evening, good afternoon, and other times. Thanks for watching that video you just saw. I mean, it was okay. But the next video you could watch could be way better. What if you watch a video right now that changes your life? Well, you could watch this one, or watch this one. Watch this one, watch this one, watch this one. Ah!